Welcome to Educating Spokane. I'm Erica Hallock. Tonight, our Board of Directors is excited to share with the community a new bold goal for Spokane Public Schools, and we'll be taking your questions. If you have a question, we hope you'll call the number on your screen or email or text us at es@ksps.org. We encourage you to share your name and phone number in case we need to get back to you if time runs short. Our guests from the Board of Directors tonight are Director Dr. Jeff Bierman.
Hi, Erica.
Vice President Susan Chapin.
Hello.
And our Superintendent, Dr. Shelley Redinger.
Good evening.
Great. Thanks for being with us tonight, and thank you for being here with us. Now, the start of the school year is a particularly exciting time, filled with fresh starts, bright beginnings. So let's get right to some of the exciting happenings in Spokane Public Schools. Many of our neighborhood schools peppered throughout our community have undergone renovations and modernizations in recent years. We had the pleasure of kicking off the school year with a ribbon cutting at the modernized Jefferson Elementary, and more than 800 community members joined an open house that weekend there. Construction is also ongoing at Ferris High School and is ahead of schedule. By February, all of the interior spaces should be complete. And we also have construction happening at North Central High School with the expansion of the Institute of Science and Technology. And of course, the Fitch Elementary modernization is also underway. A lot of work. Right. These projects were all part of the 2009 bond. So I'd like to first ask our board members if you could talk about why having a long-range facility plan is important for the district. I'll start with Director Chapin.
Well, it just makes good sense for the district as a whole and for our taxpayers. We want to take a look at all the buildings across the district and take good care of them. You know, they're given to us by the community, but taxpayers supported these buildings, and when you've got hundreds of small children in an elementary school and literally a couple thousand kids in a high school, things wear out, and we all know it's less expensive to keep up on repairs than to let things get into disrepair and then try and fix them that way.
And it's not just things wearing out too. Standards change over time. Right? We're putting schools in place that we're expecting to last for many decades, and it doesn't take that long for the expectations for facilities to change the things that they need to be able to teach and advance kids through each of those years. So we need to modernize them as we go along. That helps prolong the life of those buildings. And you know, when you have as many schools as our system does and other buildings, we need to have a strategic approach to how we're maintaining them, how we're keeping them updated, and how we're making sure that our community can get the most out of those buildings that we can.
Great. Exactly. And you know, the bond money that the taxpayers have approved, we're spending locally, and it's not only benefiting students, but it's benefiting the community with jobs, and it's improving neighborhoods, so property values benefit too. So we just think it's a good thing all the way around.
We've also definitely heard feedback that not only, I mean, when we renovate buildings or new buildings in particular, not only do we want kids having pride in their schoolwork and their academics that they're doing, but the community and those kids in those schools have a tremendous amount of pride in those schools. And it changes the culture, excites everyone, and makes school a more exciting, happier place to be, and that leads to better results.
Definitely. And Dr. Redinger, would you have anything to add? I imagine that when a lot of our schools were built many years ago, we could not even imagine the technology, the way it's evolved today. In terms of from an educational standpoint, do you have comments about that?
Well, a lot of it is the technology and the security also. So we're having to do a lot of upgrades, and so with bond dollars, we're able to do that. So in terms of the number of outlets, it's very different than it used to be. So just the whole technological infrastructure, and then as well the security, cameras, also locations of entries, all of that is being taken into consideration.
Well, we certainly would encourage the community to come by and check out some of these new schools. They're really amazing. So another exciting event that occurred earlier this month was the announcement that Spokane Public Schools was selected to be the only charter school authorizer in the state, the only school district. The State Board of Education, of course, is as well. Dr. Redinger, you've had experience with charter schools in other states. Can you talk a little bit about what are the next steps for Spokane and what this entails?
Yes, well, right now we have our RFP out on the for the community to look at, and for the public and for organizations to apply, so we're excited about that. In other states, a similar law passed when I was a superintendent in Oregon, and what I saw is that it was real important to be a part of the process and to include your school district in the process. process so that it's more options for your community and for parents and for students. And so having had that experience in Oregon and then also in South Carolina, I thought it was really good to be a part of the process and help define it and also to give more options to our community.
I think that's a huge point of emphasis too. I mean, within Spokane Public Schools, we've been trying to move away from that kind of one-size-fits-all approach to education for every student. So we've been trying to have more options, more programs for different groups of students who are looking for different things. And this just seems like one alternative we have for trying to bring more options and provide other educational opportunities for the people within our community. And that's what we're trying to do. So.
Yeah, and we've when we did our strategic plan surveys of different focus groups around the community, more options was the one thing that we heard from everyone. They wanted some different ways for kids to be educated, and we heard that from the voters too with the passage of the charter school legislation. And I think it's really important for people to know that charter schools were approved for the entire state of Washington. And there's 295 school districts in Washington, and only one of us is a charter authorizer, Spokane Public Schools. So in reality, a charter organization could apply to go into any school district in the state. And if they apply to come to Spokane, they'll apply to us as a charter authorizer. But if they apply to go to any of our neighboring districts or Seattle, the Tri-Cities, any of the Valley School Districts, they'll apply to the State Charter Commission in Olympia. So what we hope to do with this is to keep the selection process close to home, because we think we understand what the needs of our community are, but it also will require us to monitor the charter organization too and make sure that they're living up to what they say they're going to deliver. So
do you also feel
time?
Yes, certainly. And do you also feel that it could help ensure alignment with the district initiatives to have, if there will be a school within our boundaries, that we're on the same page?
Absolutely. I think we know our district better than anyone. We know where our needs are, where our strengths are, where our weaknesses are, and it'll help us to make that selection and make sure it's a group that meets the needs that our community has expressed. And we can work with them instead of having someone else choose that organization for us.
It'll work as a partnership.
Absolutely.
We see it as a strong partnership.
Yeah.
And Dr. Redinger, in terms of the timeline, you mentioned that our request for proposal is out at this point. So at this time, we're unsure of how many applicants we'll get. We should find that out in November.
Correct.
Do you think there is a possibility that there could be a charter school in the Spokane boundaries within the 2014-15 school year?
Yes, I think there is a chance. The timeline was very short for many organizations, and there's a lot of planning that goes into it. So I think that will be difficult for many groups. But however, the following year, I do think we'll see some additional applications if we don't have any this year, or if we just have a couple this year.
And in terms of facilities, do you see facilities as being a challenge? That is something that the charter school applicants, right? They need to really think through all aspects of running a school, including facilities.
Exactly.
And that's why that tight timeline that we're looking at for this year is going to be difficult for anybody to be able to put a plan together that can realistically be in place. But we'll look forward to seeing what applications we do see and what ideas people have. So,
and I think another important piece too that's important for the community to recognize is the accountability. So as Director Chapin mentioned, we can ensure alignment and consistency, but there also is accountability and review, and it's ongoing. So if the outcomes aren't as the board desires, there are opportunities for improvement and
or change. Yeah, we've taken on a big project by becoming a charter authorizer, and but we think it will be great for our community, good for our kids, and another option.
Another option, wonderful. Well, thank you for that discussion. At this point, I'd like us to transition to focus on Spokane Public Schools' bold new goal that's around post-secondary completion, and we have a short video here that we'll share to talk about what some people are talking about with regard to this great new goal.
Good.
Little kids walking into their first day of preschool and kindergarten know that by going to Lincoln Heights and by being part of Spokane Schools and having the 224 initiative, they can start planning on college, start planning on something after high school. We know the finish line can't be high school, and that if we can get them through there and then planning for their future careers, we'll set them up for more success.
It's really, how do we help our students think now and understand and believe in themselves to have the persistence and be successful after high school?
One of our charges is that we will always advocate, we will always be their students' cheerleader, we will always have high expectations, but in addition with high expectations come high support.
Sometimes they don't have the support at home, sometimes they don't have the support in the community, but they have the support here, and that's our goal, is to give them the support to get to where they want to be.
With this college and career readiness, we can instill in them the goal that that's possible, and they can really set some steps up to accomplish that. And then they have that, they take ownership of that, and then they just take off and they just keep that with them, and nothing can stop them.
Being college ready, being college bound, going into a career versus a job is just what we do here.
The community we have created here and the climate that we've set up with the idea that everybody can excel and that with effort and tenacity and grit, you can achieve whatever you say you might do.
Our panel has expanded to include Dr. Steven Gering, our Chief Academic Officer. Welcome, Steven. Thanks for joining us tonight. So this great, bold initiative called T24. If you could take a minute to talk about what this is about and why T24.
This is something that's really exciting to all of us. We know that where our nation's heading is the biggest premium ever probably on having post-secondary, some sort of post-secondary training. So we're really encouraging every single family, every student in Spokane Public Schools to think about post-secondary training, going something beyond high school. So we're really talking about changing the finish line and having every student go someplace after high school. The T is for technical, the 2 is for 2-year, 4 for 4-year degrees. We don't care where students go, but we really want them to think of high school as a launching pad towards some sort of post-secondary opportunities. And we're really excited about this T24 and how it's really grabbed our school and our school system. People are really rallying behind that.
Steven, can you talk a little bit about why? So why this focus on post-secondary? Certainly this district is focused in recent years around high school graduation, and certainly we've seen a lot of success in increasing our high school graduation rate, and certainly high school graduation remains important, but why move the finish line? What's the impetus?
One of the statistics we saw through the recession that the United States went through was a loss of about 5 to 6 million jobs for people who just had a high school diploma. So during that time of that recession, positions with bachelor's degrees increased a couple million. Associate's degrees are kind of back to where they were the pre-recession. So the big idea is that employers are requiring some sort of post-secondary training, and a high school diploma just doesn't open as many doors and provide as many options for students. So we're really trying to plant seeds in young children and saying, what do you want to be, where do you want to go, and helping them kind of plot their route forward and help them believe that they can do what they want to do, but it will take something beyond high school to probably open all those doors that they want.
Great. As board members, can you jump in? Why is this important?
It's vitally important. I grew up in Spokane, and I graduated from Spokane Public Schools in the early 70s. I'll narrow it down that much. And back then, a lot of kids graduated from high school and got jobs locally. There was manufacturing quite a bit. There was Kaiser. There were a couple of meat packing plants. There were a lot of opportunities for people with a high school diploma, and they were very well-paying jobs. And none of those places exist anymore. And we know that we're given the responsibility of helping prepare kids for a successful future. And that successful future really does require something beyond high school. And we're not saying everyone has to go to a 4-year university. There's wonderful training to be had at the community college or in technical programs, but we want to make sure kids have those options to go. So we know that the high school diploma is very important, but it's not the final goal.
Great.
Yeah, I think that's the important part there, is that over the years, as we've focused somewhat on the graduation rate and improving that, there's a tendency for a system to start focusing on that and thinking that is the end all, when it's not. And for me, it's really about trying to make sure kids have opportunities and that doors aren't closing on kids until they're making choices on what they want to do and where they want to see their future go. And if we as a system aren't trying to help them identify the needs to look past high school and not see that as their ending place, not everyone, everyone's going to make their own choices and decisions for what's right for them, but you want to make sure that it's their choice and something that's not forced upon them. And so as a system, we just need to keep providing those options and opportunities and that guidance to know the opportunities that are going to be available in the future in the upcoming years, they're not the same ones that we saw 20 years ago or even seeing right now. And we need to help kids understand that and look towards that future and be ready for it.
Dr. Redinger, what are your thoughts?
Well, I do find that the educational attainment levels of our region are lower than other parts of our state. And so we really want to take that on for a whole region as a goal as well, that we want to help increase that educational attainment. Many of the individuals in our region will go for a class maybe at the community college, but they won't complete a certificate or a degree, and that in long term has some damaging effects in terms of how much a person can actually earn. In terms of their wage or their salary. So we really want to help change that trajectory of our region, and so that we have a much higher level of educational attainment.
That's great. I know I've heard the expression ready, in, and through. Stephen, can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, we talk a lot with our students about getting ready for post-secondary and then helping them prepare to get into post-secondary. And then really our new goal is getting through. Well, we're not talking about just preparing. We want to really help close the deal and make sure if a student tells us they want to go to community college, what are all the steps necessary to get prepared and into that community college? And we are really trying to do a much better job of partnering with families and partnering with students, making sure that all of those steps, all those hoops that they have to jump through, that every single family, every student knows, and they have equal access to those opportunities.
And don't you think it's really important too, though, that our system doesn't see this as something that's just happening in the high schools or at the end of high school. It's about infusing that approach, that culture early on into our K-12 system so that kids are growing up with the expectation and understandings of where they're moving towards. And it's not something that they're just talking about in those last couple years of high school. We got to make sure our entire system's looking towards that direction.
Some of the research we were reading on that, as early as 5th and 6th grade, some students start checking out of their college dreams or their post-secondary ambitions because they don't believe their family can afford it. So we're really trying to, as early as kindergarten, just start talking about what do you want to be and where do you want to go, and helping them all along the way, making sure that they don't not chase their dream or follow their ambitions because they believe that there's a hoop that they can't get through.
And it's not just with the mindset within children, but it's within our staff too, because it's not just the high school teachers that prepare kids for post-secondary. It's, in middle school, if a child needs to be on target for college or technical training, what do they need to be doing in middle school? And then in 5th and 6th grade, if they need to be on target in middle school, what do we need to be doing at that grade level? So it's a mindset shift through the whole system.
Can you touch on the affordability piece? Certainly the post-secondary costs can seem daunting to many parents, myself included. Can you talk, Dr. Gering, a little bit about some of the strategies and partnerships to try and address the affordability challenge?
This is a nationwide conversation. I know a new website launched just in the last week or two from the federal government, helping families select colleges based on affordability and helping them navigate through. They can actually compare and really kind of figure this out for the first time. So it's a national conversation between governors and legislators and the president. Everybody's talking about how do we make post-secondary more affordable. So what we try to do is we start early in about 5th and 6th grade talking with students about there are ways to pay, and we talk about just terms. So we want to make sure that all of our kids know those terms: scholarship, financial aid, loan, grant, just so that they understand what those terms are and they realize that there are resources out there to help them. In middle school, we help all of our kids. We are pushing for 100% of all of our students eligible for the College Bound Scholars. So that pays for college for students in the state of Washington. That's an amazing scholarship. So we're really working on getting all of our kids signed up. And then in high school, we really work on navigating kids all the way through from if families need help with financial aid, filing for the financial aid process, filling out loans, scholarships. We're trying to do a better job of getting more scholarship information to families. We have to improve on that and make sure that all families have access to that. So we really start in elementary school and kind of start with terms and build all the way up to helping families all the way through. We'll have lots of Saturdays in the news where we'll We'll be there if families want help filling out that financial aid form. We'll have staff right there to assist you all the way through that process. We don't want that to be a barrier.
And we did just receive a large grant from the College Success Foundation, which places college advisors in all of our middle schools and high schools for 5 years. So we're very excited about
great
this. And this grant will also help us reach our students and get them ready for college.
That's wonderful. So as board members, both of you, I know that the board of directors is very interested in measurement and ensuring that these efforts are delivering the outcomes that you want. So can you talk a little bit about how will we know we have success? How will we measure success with this initiative?
Well, hopefully through data. And I would hope that the more we can follow kids after they've left our system and see where they go, how they do, how well they stick to it, looking both at completion and that perseverance of students as they're moving through the system. I think that indicates a lot about how they've been prepared and their approach as they move on to post-secondary pursuits is that willingness to persevere through whatever difficulties they encounter. So I think there are things that we've already got some data on, and we'll be able to do an even better job of tracking to see whether we're delivering students to a place where they're able to move on and succeed.
Great. What are some challenges? If you know, this goal is very bold, obviously, 100%, all of our students completing some form of post-secondary. So what challenges do you see, and what are some strategies to help overcome them?
Well, we need to work closely with families because we're one piece, but we also need the families. So really building those partnerships with families, working closely with parents, starting in full day kindergarten all the way through our system, and letting parents know what the expectations are and that there are new standards and they're rigorous, and then helping parents and work as a partner in that goal. So I do think that's one of our challenges. We really need to reach out more to our parents.
I'd say another challenge really is overcoming what I think is in large part a myth, that the academic preparation that kids need to be ready for a lot of technical programs and tier programs is substantially different than the level of training and preparation they need for other 2- and 4-year programs. The way technology is advanced in society and the expectations of people who go into all these different roles, the language arts, the mathematics, the science training that are required for kids to be able to go into technical programs and succeed is not very different from what you see for others going into advanced 4-year programs. And so overcoming that mindset that certain kids need an advanced background, others don't, it's just not the case. And our system needs to be the one that really stakes the claim opposed to that myth and says we need to train all kids and prepare all kids to about the same level no matter which way you're looking to go.
One of the things that shocks people on that is when you look at a manual for an automotive technician, it's actually written at a higher reading level than what a college freshman needs to be able to read at. And that really surprises people. People don't realize that because of technology, everything has really shifted, and the skills, the reading skills and the math skills, it's not the same as it used to be, and everybody needs a really strong foundation. Everybody doesn't need the same, but you really need a strong foundation in the core subject areas in order to go into any of the T24 routes. And I think that mindset, and then I think a little bit of what Shelley was talking about with our kind of our regional. You hear the commercials on the radio about Idaho being 47th. I don't know if you guys have heard those. And Washington's right there. So kind of in the West, we're behind other parts of the U.S. in just terms of our own mindset about the value of post-secondary. So we really have to partner with families and get people to shift and realize that the Western U.S. is a little behind some of the rest of the nation in post-secondary preparation. And Washington's expected to have lots of jobs for college graduates, but we have to make sure that the jobs
People
are
are
going to
prepared for
Washington
it.
kids and Spokane kids, not to people from around the nation, around the world, because our kids aren't prepared for that.
Right, and we hear that from employers that they would like to hire local, but they can't. So they bring in technical employees from other areas, and you know, we think the Pacific Northwest is a great place to live, and Spokane's a great place with regards to cost of living, quality of lifestyle. So we want our own graduates to be able to find a way to make a fine living and have a nice career here at home.
Now, I've heard both the board and Dr. Redinger say that this is a goal we can't achieve on our own. And certainly Spokane Public Schools is blessed with a great community that supports us in many ways. Can you talk a little bit, any of you, about how the community can help support this goal, businesses in particular and other community supporters?
Well, I think, a big one is we want to continue to reach out to our business partners in terms of we have a New Tech Skills Center where we just received $11 million to update that facility. So we really want to partner with the Spokane community colleges as well as businesses to make sure we really have state-of-the-art programs. And so that will be a big area where we really are asking for help. Also, we'd love to have more mentors and parents, community volunteers coming in and reading with students, because the new goals, the new standards are much more rigorous. And so we need to read with students more. We need to give them those opportunities.
Great. The comments about community? Yeah, go ahead.
Always with parents, though. We can't emphasize enough how important that family support is. Whether your child is in preschool or wherever they are in their education, making sure that we've got family support and that family understands, what the child's learning in school and how they can participate, and that they feel welcome in our buildings.
Yes,
so they feel comfortable coming in and asking for help if they need it. So
We have time, and we have one question that came in that I want to raise before we wrap up, and that relates to full-day kindergarten. There's a lot of attention on our district for bringing full-day kindergarten to all 34 schools. I know we all have spent some time at those school sites and see how it's going. And just real short, what are your impressions so far? How are the kiddos doing?
Well, I was at Redinger this morning, and all the kindergarten teachers were so excited. They're energetic, smiling, and they were thanking us for supporting them with all the new resources. And they're just very excited where the students are heading.
And the kids are transitioning well for the full day.
The children are transitioning well, and the first grade teachers are all excited because they know that the students are going to be that much more ready for first grade.
Wonderful.
It's the ultimate launch to T24. We really believe early learning is the key.
Early learning is the key. So we're nearly out of time, and I want to thank our board of directors as well as Dr. Gering and Dr. Redinger for being with us tonight, and especially you as our viewers for tuning in. We will be re-airing this show at 8 p.m. for the next week, beginning tomorrow on Comcast Cable Channel 17. This program, along with many other shows and interviews, are always available on our website at SpokaneSchools.org. As we leave tonight, we hope you will enjoy some scenes from the Jefferson Elementary ribbon cutting. Good night.